So we began seaweed production in 2019. We just finished in May our 5th year of seaweed production. I believe we're one of the larger seaweed farms in the country, if not the largest. We are just beginning our 1st year of production of shellfish. We put about 2.5 million oysters in the water last year. We expect to have about 50,000 dozen market oysters the second half of this year. So that was just fairly significant, and we're pretty excited about that. So, being able to do seaweed and shellfish with the same company is really fundamental to my vision of where I think where I think the Alaska industry can go.
We're the lead entity administering the Alaska Mariculture Cluster, and that's a group of Alaskans that are dedicated to scaling mariculture and with a focus on oysters and kelp, but other species as well. We received $49 million through the U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration, and we competed nationally. It was a big win for Alaska to bring those funds home. We're able to put a lot of money into research and development to try to figure out the markets and the products that are going to drive our industry forward. And this is all about our coastal communities, and they're making sure that they thrive and have another option for economic development. We have really strong focus on the equity component. We want our participation in the industry, the ownership, to reflect the diversity in Alaska, and in particular, the Alaska Native communities and entities and individuals. We target 25% of our investments and impacts to Alaska Native entities and communities.
My position right now is with Alaska Mariculture Alliance. Through Southeast Sustainable Partnership and EcoTrust, I work for both. My host organization right now is EcoTrust. That's who I work for. And I'm going around Southeast Alaska and talking to folks and tribes about kelp mariculture, letting them know information, and then extrapolating also information from them on what their concerns and their aspirations for how they'd like to see getting into this, or if they want to get into it. I'm here letting everyone know that these communities are here, some of the needs that these communities have, and to be able to connect these folks if they so choose to get into this space, that we know the people that are in it. We've got the tourism industry or fishing, and there's not a lot of choices for folks here. So this is another thing that they can add. And what I'm showing people too is that if you work at the hospital or you work in an office or whatever, there's ways of still getting into this and keeping the life that you have. I think there's a misconception in that I've got to quit what I do and become a farmer. This is, you're getting gear in the water in October, around September, October, and you're coming back and pulling your gear in April. So there's a lot of different ways to get into this, and I want a lot more people to have passive income and not just have to survive.
The people know how to work in the water. It's known, it's part of the culture. Everybody grew up knowing how to work on a skiff in crappy weather. I mean, that's just the way, that's what we know. We know fishing, we know water-based industries. We have a really significant seafood industry infrastructure. You've got, there are 5,000 registered fishing vessels in Alaska. There are over 200 seafood processing facilities in Alaska. So there's so much fundamental infrastructure already here, and people that can adapt quickly to learn how to do the activities that are necessary for a successful industry. So when you put all of those pieces together, and the fact that Alaska has 35,000 miles of coastline, there really is no other place in the world that has the potential that Alaska has in mariculture. So far, we've commercially grown three primary species of seaweed on our farm in Doyle Bay. We've grown Nereocystis lutekiana, which is bull kelp, which many of us see along the whips on the beach and the fronds. We grew that for several years. Saccharina latissima, which is a sugar kelp. Sugar kelp is grown around the world. It's probably one of the most ubiquitously grown kelps in the world, but it's also indigenous here in Alaska. So we've grown that, and we've grown Alaria marginata, or ribbon kelp, which is an intertidal kelp that if you get on the rocks and you'll see these long, slender blades with a midrib, and that's Alaria marginata. And each have different uses, each have different components. I think one of the exciting things about seaweeds is the number of products and derivatives that you can make from them. There is seaweeds in a variety of food products, both as derivatives. Carrageenans and alginates come from seaweeds, which most of us have eaten in everything from ranch dressing to ice cream. They're in nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals. They're used in farming and fertilizer as a biostimulant. They're just thousands of different potential products that seaweeds can be used in. In fact, one of them we're gonna try this year is we're collaborating with Uncharted, which is a terrific distillery here in Ketchikan, and just on a whim, we were chatting and we said, let's try making vodka out of sugar kelp. And so we took a few hundred pounds of sugar kelp over there, and they made vodka, and it turned out fabulous. So we're going to do a collaboration on a sugar kelp vodka that we call Holdfast, and it should be in the market in September.
The thing that'll get people interested is seeing other people succeed at it. We need more different experimentation. That's where the public money really plays a good role. We can make some bets and test some things out. With kelp and oysters, we're trying to grow to like 200 million in sales from where we are now, maybe 4 or 5 million.
We've got a real free spirit in Alaska. We really like things to be our way. And in these communities, I want to flourish that, and to do things proactively, especially in building a new economy and being able to do that on your own. I think it creates that pride in any community that they've done this on their own. So I think it means a lot, and I'm happy to be a person that's helping put these things forward.
We can produce at scale. We can produce more seaweed than Asia if we wanted to. We've just got that much capacity. But it's going to take that kind of collaboration for this to be successful. And mariculture is the fastest growing agriculture sector in the world. And if we want to feed the world, Alaska's the place. If you want to grow unique species, Alaska's the place. There are just so many things about it that give us a step ahead of anywhere else in the developed world.